Making and eating orecchiette pasta for almost 700 years. And this recipe, made with a lightly bitter leafy vegetable, known in Australia as rapini or broccoli rabe, is a classic of the Puglia region. And the breadcrumbs we are going to be using instead of parmesan or pecorino on top of the finished dish, which is a really wonderful way to use up stale bread because it adds crunch, it adds flavor, and honestly, you just whiz it in a food processor. It's going to be noisy. And now, all we do is fry it off in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in a hot pan. Add the breadcrumbs and season with salt. Give it a shake. It won't take long at all. That's looking really good. It's smelling good. It's ready. So I'm just going to turn the heat off and set this aside. And now we can talk about cime di rapa or rapini or broccoli rabe. Look how beautiful these are. These greens are magnificent. They are bitter and super, super tasty. And they are a winter vegetable, so when they're in season, just make the most of them because they don't have a very long season either. And the great thing about them is that you get the leaves, but you also get these little florets, which are the cimette. And this is exactly what we want to use, a combination of the beautiful leaves and the cimette. Once you boil it in the water, it will reduce quite a bit. So we need a good, generous amount of this. Water is boiling fiercely, a really good fistful of salt. And this much is what the water needs to cook the pasta really well and season it as it cooks. Speaking of pasta, let's get some orecchiette. Pasta goes in. And cime di rapa go in with the pasta and submerge them. It's amazing, the second you drop the cime di rapa in the hot water, you can really smell the incredible perfume of both broccoli and turnip. This needs to cook for 8 or 9 minutes, which is plenty of time for me to make the sauce. And while the pan is getting hot, I'm just going to grab a dried chili and a few garlic cloves. Cut up this chili very, 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 very roughly like so. And anchovies. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil. We want the anchovies to basically melt into the oil. A couple will give this dish such a beautiful salty flavor. And this is normal, this is what they do, just stand back. I'm gonna grab my garlic and chili. Believe it or not, this is the base of our sauce ready, because when the pasta and the cime di rapa are ready, I'm just gonna scoop them out, toss them in here, and that is it. Let's check the pasta. It's looking beautiful. I'm actually gonna add a little bit of the pasta cooking water to this base. Huh? How good is that? Let's taste the pasta to see if it's al dente. Yes, I think it is. I can actually feel it with the fork. It's got a little bit of resistance. Oh, that is just perfect. It's just slightly before al dente, which is what we want because then it keeps cooking in there with the sauce. Now, this is where you have to be quick and nimble, okay? We are going to strain this with a slotted spoon because we want to drag along some of that beautiful pasta cooking water. And that is full of starches that will bind this sauce into something even more amazing. that. See how the starch from the pasta cooking water is thickening the sauce. And this is why we're using orecchiette, because they've got a rougher outer shell, and so the pasta sauce will really cling. We're also using orecchiette because this is the traditional way, and God forbid I stray from tradition. That's perfect. It's so beautiful and rich. I'm just gonna pick out the garlic because it's done its job and tumble this into a bowl. I can't stop marveling at the fact that this dish only has a couple of ingredients and nothing fancy. But when it's finished with the toasted crunchy breadcrumbs and some fruity extra virgin olive oil, this becomes a very elegant dish. I am in heaven right now. I can have this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.